My name is Vicki Goldsmith. I'm a DGA second assistant director and producer. I began my career in the industry right after college. I moved to LA and started working on everything I could. I think when I was younger, I thought maybe I wanted to be an actress, even though that's not what I decided by the time I got here. In high school and college, I was always a stage manager. I couldn't be in the plays and play my sports, but I could be a house manager, stage manager. I could do the lights, and that's how I kind of got into the tech side of things. And then I moved out here and I was an unpaid PA off of Craigslist for like a year and a half, but each job led to something better. And then finally I was an unpaid second on a movie where the director was a DGA second AD and the first was a DGA second. And I remember telling my mom, this is gonna turn into something, this is gonna turn into something. She's like, yeah, right, you have a college education, you're working for nothing. Yeah, right, you have a college education, you're making minimum wage. And 9 months later, those people called me for ER, Scrubs, and Monk, which was my first regular show. And then Monk led me to CSI New York. And by that point, I figured out that I wanted to be an AD and that I was gonna get all my days that I needed as a production assistant to do that. And that was how I started. As an assistant director, you're essentially the liaison between the director and the actors. It's also my responsibility to schedule the whole production, to make sure everything goes off without a hitch, that there's no problems that arise, but also troubleshoot any problems that come up along the way. Also, I'm kind of the communication liaison between the whole crew, so it's a lot of planning how the next day is gonna work, a lot of going to department heads. Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand what you're doing? Okay, great, everyone's on the same page, and then you make it happen. And then you also have a backup plan and a backup plan and a backup plan when things go wrong, so you don't miss a beat and you know exactly what you're gonna do next. It's a lot of multitasking, which is great, and it's a lot of fun. Never a dull moment. My biggest female inspiration in the industry is Sandra Bullock. Sandra is an actress-producer. She moved to New York in 1986, right after college. She joined the Neighborhood Playhouse Theater, where she also worked as a waitress and bartender. And at the age of 21, she got her first gig in an off-Broadway play called No Time Flat, which landed her her first agent, which got her her first big audition in a film called The Bionic Showdown, The $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman, which later led to, she played Tess in a show called Working Girl. And then in 1994, everyone told her to pass on the movie Speed because it was a bus movie, and that was her breakthrough. She made that movie what it was. I was about 12 or 13 years old when I first saw Speed and fell in love with this woman. I was like, I love her. I want to be like her when I grow up. And I thought she was amazing. Sandra inspires me because she was one of the first women that came on my radar, really like with her innate goodness, her wholesomeness. When Miss Congeniality came out, I was just graduating high school. What I loved about that, she's a smart, tomboyish badass who cleans up well, but kicks ass. I like to think I clean up okay. I was just about graduating high school where I was on the wrestling team for 2 years, and then I wrestled again in college, and I thought, like, this could be me. Like, this woman understands where I'm coming from. Like, for someone, I always felt different, not like all the other girls, and she really created characters that I identified with, and that was really special for me. My experience is definitely different from Sandra Bullock's because while initially I was inspired to want to be an actor and have a career like hers and play women like her, I obviously haven't pursued acting. I kind of went a different route, but I still admire the innate goodness and like self-respecting wholesomeness that she has as a human being that I try and carry within myself. I've actually worked with her. It was about 10 years ago. I was a production assistant on a movie called All About Steve. And it's so funny because like I could cue her, I could say, we're ready for you, but I couldn't be like, hi, I'm Vicki, nice to meet you. I was just like too afraid to talk to her. But her presence as a producer on that film too, she would walk around Video Village with like craft services, offer, like she's everything I thought she would be. So that was a wonderful experience. I've definitely learned from Sandy, just be true to yourself. Like, don't give in to what Hollywood says women characters should be like or what women should be like in general. Like, there is no cookie cutter standard because here's this woman who's gorgeous but different and she's incredible, and anyone can be like that wants to be like that's different. You don't have to be like the cookie cutter Hollywood person to be successful. Sandy is important to me because of her self-respectability, her dignity, her grace. She played women that I wanted to be like. She has self-respect. She essentially revolutionized women not just playing the love interest. She created roles of her own, smart, badass female characters that I identified with, and she did it without taking her clothes off. If I could have a conversation with Sandy today, I would just ask her to talk, and I would just sit and listen to everything she had to tell me. I would just want her advice about everything. She's definitely impacted my career in that very, very early on in my life, while I was still like finding myself and figuring out who I was, that it was okay to be different. It was okay to like not be like everyone else and be brilliant at it and like make me, I guess, have these dreams that ultimately brought me out here and led me to the career I have today. It's important to the film industry and to myself that she's female, because inspiring female characters that aren't playing romantic leads can really only be shown by a female. She was the first female when The Blind Side came out to gross over $200 million by just being a sole female headline star, which was more than double what Meryl Streep did from The Devil Wears Prada. And she's also the only person in the same year to win both a Razzie and an Oscar in the same year and accept both awards. And when she was asked about this, how do you feel about being named Best and Worst in the same year, she said that life is perfectly balanced. And I think that just sums up her whole genuine aura. If she had an opportunity to give me a piece of advice, I think it would start with keep going. You're doing great. Follow your dreams. Don't give up and just make it happen. Always choose people that are better than you. Always choose people that challenge you and are smarter than you. Always be the student. Once you find yourself to be the teacher, you've lost it. And I think it's very wise to admit stuff like that. And I think that's just brilliant. If I could give women starting their careers in film any advice, it's pretty much the same thing. Don't give up, keep at it. If this is really what you want to do, then go for it. If there's anything else in life that makes you happy, do that, because it's going to be hard. But don't give up and stay true to yourself. Always have self-respect, be true to yourself, and just go for it. Just do it. Surround yourself with a good group of friends and move up with your friends. Don't step on people's backs to get ahead. I've always felt it was better to move up together versus any other way. And it's really fun too.